A girl is in a room in a house in Morocco, and a man tries to SA her, but she sets him on fire without touching him. She's surprised and scared. She runs off, but angry men run after her and corner her in a maze. They try to kill her, but an invisible force fights them off and defeats them. The invisible force reveals itself to be Yelena, and the young girl is Natasha, her daughter, the twin sister of Michelle. Michelle lays on his mom Giovanna's grave in a cemetery. She just died a while ago, and he blamed himself for her death. He had been in a call with her, and they had gotten into a disagreement which led to her death. He sees a therapist for this, but it doesn't seem to help. That night, he follows Stella to a bar, and just as he was about to approach her, he sees her with Brando, and he gets invisible to listen to their conversation. He overhears her tell Brando that she loved him because he was the one who had saved her when they had been kidnapped as kids. Michelle gets annoyed by this because Brando had been lying to her. He was the one who'd saved them. He gets so angry that he telekinetically shatters their wine glasses. In a casino nearby, a lady uses telekinesis to cheat in a game. Her name is Cinetica, and she is a special with the power of telekinesis. On her way home, she is kidnapped. At school the next day, a new student joins their class. It is Natasha. That night, all the students go to a costume party, and Natasha watches Michelle from a distance. He goes to Stella and tries to talk to her, but Brando comes over and mockingly asks him to leave. He threatens to expose Brando, and he leaves. He starts to drink, and later he goes on stage and asks Brando to tell everyone how he'd saved the kids when they had been kidnapped as kids. Brando has been lying to everyone, and he tries to expose him for the fraud that he is, but he and Stella start to leave. He runs after them and tries to get invisible to prove to Stella that he'd actually been the one that had saved her and the other kids. But Natasha causes a ruckus in the bar, and everyone starts to run away. He tries to tell Stella how he'd rescued her and the kids, but Natasha hits him and he falls unconscious. The next day he wakes up in a strange house and he sees Natasha there. She tells him that she'd saved him from the fire, and he tries to leave, but she sets his cloth on fire. Yelena comes into the room and she introduces herself to him as his biological mother, and Natasha, his twin sister. He's shocked. In a jewelry store, a man uses his superpower to steal some diamonds. His name is Morpheus. On his way home, he's kidnapped. Meanwhile, at the house, Michelle watches as Natasha transfuses blood to their mother. The doctor tells them that she was sick and that she'd been using her powers too much recently, and that's why it was worse. Yelena introduces the doctor as Dr. K. She tells Mikhail her story and that his dad hadn't contacted him for long because he had been kidnapped. She tells him that he and all the other specials had been kidnapped by a man named Igor Zavarov, and that Igor Zavarov was a bad man who wanted to use them for execrable experiments, and he had tortured them while they were at the division. She asked for Michelle's help to kidnap him in 5 days' time when he comes for the inauguration of the city's pipeline. And to save his dad and the other kidnapped specials, Michelle agrees. At an underground fight club, a 300-pound man effortlessly defeats the fan favorite. His name is Rachia. On his way home, he's kidnapped. At school, Stella tries to ask him what he tried to tell her at the party, but he tells her that it was unimportant. Natasha causes a fire in their chemistry class in order to get Michelle to their mother. They go to her and she tells Michelle that they had to steal Igor Zavarov's security plans, and Michelle had to be the one to do it. Michelle goes to the security meeting and he manages to steal the information. They're happy about this. That night they strategize and they drink. He and Natasha go to a jewelry store and steal a necklace. Natasha asks him to come live with them and he agrees. Sometime later, he goes to his therapist and ends their sessions. He's happy now with his mom and sister. Natasha gives their mother the necklace that they'd stolen, and they are all happy. Hey guys, we are happy to announce that we just got our first sponsorship. Memories fade, but they don't have to be lost forever. At Precious Memories Restored, they specialize in preserving your cherished photos and bringing them back to life. From restoring damaged or faded photos to adding vibrant color to black and white memories, they handle it all. Their Photoshop experts work meticulously to preserve every detail, ensuring your photos look as good as new, a perfect gift for your loved ones. And with their 100% money-back guarantee, You can trust them to deliver results you'll love. If you're not satisfied, they'll make it right or refund your money. No questions asked. Need your photos restored fast? They've got you covered. Their quick turnaround times mean you'll get your precious memories back sooner than you think. Don't let your memories fade away. Visit preciousmemoriesrestored.com today and preserve and restore your precious moments. Because every memory deserves to last a lifetime. Get 33% off this February with the promo code LOVE. More information in the description. Thanks for watching. Now back to the video. Natasha reminisces on how her best friend had died at the division because of Igor Zavarov's cruelty and how that had caused a revolution amongst the specials. Igor had managed to escape in a helicopter, but his second-in-command hadn't been so lucky. Dr. K discovers the cure to Natasha's illness, a cure that would stop her and all the older specials from getting weak whenever they use their powers. She's very happy about this. Michelle watches Stella during cheerleading practice, and there he sees two specials as they steal a purse from someone's bag. It was Morpheus and Cinetica. He followed them, and they went to Yelena's house. He follows them to a secret basement, and he sees them in a meeting with Yelena. She was inspiring them and plotting with them to kill Igor Zavarov and a lot of normal people. Michelle is appalled by this. He starts to communicate with Natasha telepathically, and she hears him. Just like their father, she could read minds. He tells her that they had to call the police because Yelena had been the one kidnapping the specials, and she only wanted to kill Igor Zavarov for revenge, and she wanted to kill a lot of normal people too. Natasha ignores him and she screams and gets him caught. They throw him in a cell, and his mother tells him that he was no longer needed, as she'd engineered a cure to her weakness by combining his and his sister's DNA, and now she's able to transform without getting weak. She and all the other specials. And they were going to make the normal people pay for treating them like monsters. Natasha feels torn about everything, but she goes with her mother. In the cell, Mikhail hears his dad's voice, and Andrei told him that he'd been kidnapped by his mother and locked there for a long time. He tells Michelle that Giovanna, his adoptive mother, hadn't died by accident, but had actually been killed by Yelena. This makes him get crazy, and he telekinetically breaks the cell. Rochia and Morpheus kidnap Stella and the gymnastics team. They defeat all the military personnel, and they rig the pipeline for the explosion. Michelle and Andrei arrive, and Michelle gets invisible while Andrei goes inside to talk with Yelena. He tries to beg her to stop, but she gets Rochia to throw him across the hall. He falls unconscious. Michelle reveals himself, and he gets in a fight with the specials. Yelena reveals the bus full of Stella and the rest of the cheerleading team held up in the air by Cinetica, and she threatens to let it drop unless Michelle surrenders. But he defeats them and saves the students with his telekinetic power. They are all amazed at his power. Candela wakes Stella up, and they both watch everything from inside the bus. Yelena tells Natasha to start the explosion, and Michelle tries to talk her out of it, but they get in a fight and he defeats her. Cinetica holds him in the air and makes him unable to move. Yelena wakes Natasha up and tries to get her to start the explosion, but Michelle communicates with Natasha telepathically, and he tells her that Yelena had killed his mother Giovanna, and he asks Natasha to read her mind. Natasha does this and sees that he was telling the truth. Yelena didn't care about her or Michelle. She was only using them to regain her powers and for revenge. This breaks her heart, and she refuses to start the explosion. She takes Michelle's side. Yelena tells the other specials to fight them, and she gets invisible and grabs a wood with fire and tries to start the explosion by herself. Andrei comes to, and he goes after her. He manages to pull her away before she could start the explosion, but they both fall down on top of a sharp metal, and it goes right through them, ending their life. Candela runs out of the bus and she hugs Michelle. Stella comes over and tells him that now she realized that he was the superhero who had saved her when she'd been kidnapped before. They both agree to keep it a secret, and he goes to his sister. They're both orphans now, and they console each other. The movie ends as Michelle and Natasha are in a bus, and he shows off his powers to a young boy. So that'd do it for now. Till next time, stay sharp and take care.